Okay guys, so welcome back to another one of my videos, and for this video, well, first off guys, don't forget to hit the like. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel please, I appreciate it. And don't forget to check out my lives that I do on a Monday evening. So I'll just do a few lives. If anyone wants to join in, they're more than welcome. We'll just have a bit of chat about scrap and general chat, nothing too heavy or anything like that usually. So for this video, I've decided I have one of these lying around for a while. It's a CD player. So a lot of people will come across these who are scrapping stuff out, or who want to get anything from gold recovery and stuff like that. They'll probably come across a lot of these CD players. So I just wanted to show you what was inside it, whether it's worth picking them up for scrap. So it's got your compact disc. It's made by a company called Smart Tech Mini Component Stereo Radio CD Player. So it's just a basic CD player which loads of people have come across over their time in picking up junk and stuff for scrapping. So what I'm going to do first is, you know the routine now guys, the way I work. I'm going to take out all the screws and we're going to come back and we're going to have a look and see what's inside it and see what's worth keeping, that I hold on to for my gold recovery. Anything else will just be thrown out for recycling, or be put into the metal recycling, copper or aluminium or steel, stuff like that. So let's take out the screws, get the cover off, and let's see what's inside. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, make sure you hit that subscribe button guys. So let's have a look and see what's inside. Okay, so we have removed all the screws bar one screw. This one in here doesn't want to come out too easy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to try and remove what I can from this, see if we can get this cover off. So this is just a piece of plastic, worthless unless you and we have the I'm going to break it. It's the easiest way for me because there's always the screws that doesn't want to come out. So we've a nice little bit of a motor here, so we'll leave that aside for a minute, will we? Or no, we'll take it off now if we can. Some little screws in here, just covering the top. Doesn't want to come out. Try a smaller screwdriver. Try and find a little So they're kind of damaged, so they're very soft, so they just fall to bits very easily, but we'll give it a go and see if we can get it out. So we've one out on this side. If we can get it to lift out. So this side is damaged, so it doesn't want to come out. So I'm going to leave that aside and we'll get a pliers or something in a minute and we'll break it off from there. And we'll just take out that copper bearing motor. So you can see there, it's just a nice big motor with it looks like a chunk of copper in it. So we'll leave that aside and we get a quick look inside the board. So as you can see there, we have a little power board of sorts, a little brown board, won't be great, and we have another board here with some copper wire around the spool, a bit of wiring, and there seems to be another motor underneath here and a board. So it doesn't look like much on it, to be honest, for gold recovery, but we'll check the ribbons in case there's any. No, they're not gold, so they're not, so we don't have anything on the ribbon. We'll remove the plugs from here with the wires in it, so that we can get into the board a bit easier. So we have a few so I hope everyone is good out there. I hope that everyone is staying safe. And I understand scrap prices are pretty low and people aren't scrapping much at the moment, but if you've stuff at home and you're trying to pass some time, why not go out to now and get some of that stuff and start scrapping it out into smaller components, so easier to manage. So that's the board, the lot of little resistors of sorts, or whatever they, I don't know what you'd call them, but a lot of them on it. We've got a nice little IC chip on the back, so a nice IC and another one here, so I'll remove them, put them in with my other IC chips. I'm not sure what the gold recovery will be like on them, but we'll put them in, and if there's any gold in them when I go and incinerate the rest of the chips, we'll be getting it off. So that ribbon, as you can see, doesn't have any gold on it. It's worthless. So again, we have some copper wiring that can be cut off. I'm just checking to see if we have anything else major on there before I go down to the next board, but I don't see anything, so we'll get down onto the next board if we can get the screws out, and we'll see what's in under that board. So I'll just try and get my hand out of the way so you can see what's happening. We'll just take out the screws. Let's see if we can find where all these screws are hidden. So we have another one here in the center. So in the comments, guys, let me know what you're scrapping out at the moment. Have you a lot of stuff that you're scrapping out for gold recovery? I have a lot of mobile phones I'm working on at the moment. I'll show you after I do this some of the chips that I've removed from mobile phones, getting them ready for incinerating to later on in the year. We'll just have a look at this. Actually, we'll try and break this off if we can. So I thought this might be copper. We'll just try and take off some of the and see if it's a copper that's underneath it. So it's not actually copper. I thought that was a copper wire, but it just seems to be some sort of, no, it is actually copper, yeah. So we have a bit of copper. So it's got a coating on it. So that's straightforward to pull off. You just pull that off. Some sort of paper feels oily, greasy, like a wax on it. So this copper again has a wax on it, so when you melt it up, it'll remove that wax off it, if anyone does that with the copper. If not, you'll have to put that into, I presume, insulated copper wire, sort of, as you're doing it with your insulated copper wire. But underneath that wax that's covering that, there's a copper. We have some more screws, so what I might do is I might just pause it again and I'll remove these screws from underneath here, and I'll remove any other screws I see where the screws, where we can remove the screws, just to make it easier to get in and have a look and see what's underneath here. I'm not expecting much on this board, to be honest. Looking at it from this side, I'm not expecting it to have anything major underneath, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. So we'll just pause it there and we'll be able to jump straight on and we'll see what's underneath that board. Okay guys, so I just loosened off them screws there at the back, and we've this little board here. Doesn't look like there's much on it. We'll just try and pry it away from this bit of plastic. So again, we just have a headphone socket or a jack, a few cables going into it, nothing else. So we'll just remove the cables. Nothing for gold recovery anyhow, that's for sure. So yeah, I wasn't expecting much from this for gold recovery, but I just had them there, and I'd come across a lot of CD players, so I always take them anyhow. There's other bits and pieces for copper and wiring and stuff like that that you get in them. So again, that's that. Now we'll try and get this board out next. So we've got some wiring holding it on here, so we'll just break that off. They're off anywhere that there's wiring attached or anything like that, so that's kind of it. She broke a bit too easy for me, but again, the underside of this is, so it's going to be mainly copper wiring that I'm going to be looking at on this board. So this is where the controls were. We've got a little bit of, that was a dial which controlled either volume or something like that. Maybe a little silver contact inside of them sometimes, but won't know until I smash that open. But I don't really go that far down into it. We'll have a little bit of silver contact in there on that switch. So in here we'll have a little silver contact usually. What have we here? So again, I see a, okay, so we have a little dial again, so that would have controlled here. This is used to control the frequencies when you're dialing in or tuning in your radio stations. Looking at it, I don't see anything major of value in it. If anyone has taken these apart, is there anything worth taking apart in them? Let me know in the comments, guys. Be interesting to know. On the other side we have a chip that I'll take off, and we'll have a switch here. Again, can have silver contacts in it. If you're into that silver part of it, why'd you take them off, collect them up, but I haven't really processed much silver at the moment. Prices are very low, so it doesn't really interest me. What do we here? Another little control, another bit of a board underneath here, so we'll just take off this screw here if I can, if it comes out. Let me try this one instead. So far nothing jumps out as being a wow factor in these. Sometimes you might get lucky, you might find some nice boards in some of the CD players. If they have internet radio or anything like that built into them, you'll usually come across something maybe a bit better. So again, a lot of switches, so we're going to have little silver contacts in them switches. We have a little LCD display, and we'll just see if we can get, if we take it off, is there anything worth getting underneath it, but probably not. But while we're at it, we might as well take it apart right down to the lowest amount of stuff. So looking underneath, we have 0 for my recovery of gold or precious metals. Nothing in underneath there. And underneath here we may have a little bit of gold underneath that little dot, that black dot there. Sometimes you can get a little bit of gold under it, but judging by this so far, I would be very, very surprised if there's anything underneath it. Just seeing if that's easy to get off. It's not really, it's soldered there, so I'm going to have to get a heat gun to get it off, and then I was trying to bend that to see if I can get that off, but I'll have to leave it because I don't have a heat gun beside me, and it'll make too much noise anyhow for doing this video, so it wouldn't even be very annoying to watch. So what else we got? We have a little motor here that I won't bother taking off, another one here that I won't bother for this video. It's just 2 motors, but I'll take them off before I dispose of the rest. I'll remove these cables, put all this cabling in with my insulated copper wiring. We've something, what's that connected to? Again, that's connected to your headphone jack and a speaker, an external left and right. So again, not really worth the hassle of getting it off. So that's kind of it, guys. There's nothing really more in there that I'll be looking at taking out. As I said already, I've been working on mobile phones for the last few, well, for the last day, just working on removing the chips from the mobile phone. So I use the heat gun. I'd say any that would be familiar will have seen my videos on them. So I'm removing these little chips. You can see the burn marks there on them where they got heat, where the heat gun was heating them up. Got a nice few in there. So they'll be incinerated fully at a later date to get into the actual gold bonding wires that's hidden in underneath them, to try and release the gold bonding wires from these. So you can see some of them here. Sometimes you might be looking to see some of the gold that have exposed the gold, but some of these chips like this one here, for instance, you can see the gold on them there. If I can put it down a bit lower, you can see the gold already on it. So inside of there will be more gold bonding wires running through that chip. So just I thought I'd show you what some of the stuff I've been working on off the mobile phones. Sometimes you can see some of them where I've heated them up enough that they actually expose more of the gold bonding wires, but not really on these. You can just see they're similar chips, so like a few very like each other from the mobile phone boards. So that's what I've been doing to keep myself busy, with the mobile phones. So hopefully there'll be a video coming on incinerating them. I have a lot more mobile phone boards to do, so I hope to get maybe another 1 or 2 of these tubs full. There's a good I'd say at least a kg there of chips in there. Maybe I'm wrong, could be less, but just check something. No, probably half kg. Probably half kg. I just threw it on the scale there and I'm getting about 700 grams. So that's including the case. So maybe half kg of chips on there. Just so it's nice to have that on it. So that's kind of it, guys, for the video. So the main find in the actual this that is worth anything is to me is I just get 1 or 2 chips. So very low grade, and I get the copper motor. So again, that copper motor weighs, let me reset this back to 0, set 0, 0 it. So we have 465 grams, so over about a pound in weight, of a little copper bearing motor. So for this, that's a pound weight. So I'll go in with my copper bearing motors. Again, if some people want, you can break that down even further and get the actual copper wire out of it. I might do a video on that at some stage, but Ian Matthews, I'm almost certain, has a video up there of taking the copper from these motors. But you never know, I might just do one for you. So guys, until the next video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you watch. Check out my live on Monday. We'll see what we never know what we chat about. A lot of people are on lockdown because of the coronavirus. So why not drop in, spend a bit of time, have a bit of chat, have the crack. And till the next video, guys, keep on looking for that gold and stay safe.